everybody, Happy New Year!
Happy New Year from me, Anna and
Ziggy and the kids who are at school. We thought, like last year, we would do a little video to start the year, looking forward at everything that we've got planned, all the exciting news that we have to share with you.
Super exciting news and projects.
Yeah, but before that, we thought we would look back also at the previous year, at 2025, everything that happened, everything we accomplished. We did actually move into our finished master suite at the beginning of last year. It was a big thing for us.
So what, after 1.5 years of renovating?
And 5 years of living upstairs in our tiny apartment that we used to live in. So that was a big change for us as a family, moving down onto this first floor. And I have to say that, yeah, we adapted very easily and we had to keep pinching ourselves that we actually got to live in such beautiful rooms in the chateau. The girls settled in, they love their rooms. We didn't do too much in terms of the girls' bedrooms. We just added a few carpets and made it a bit more fun.
Come on, what is it, Ziggy?
Ziggy.
He's complaining that he's not allowed to come up here. He's still sleeping downstairs because he's our guard dog.
Yeah.
He needs to chase away the thieves that come in the house. Yeah.
Shortly after that, we actually started working on the coach house, which was our huge, big project of last year. It turned into something much bigger than we expected. We began with hoping to renovate the facade and the plan to transform it into an atelier studio space for me and then also a sauna for us. However, things didn't go quite to plan.
We did renovate the facades. We thought that's the important thing to do, which now we regret a little bit to have done it already. But that's what we thought. Well, I will explain later why, but...
I don't regret it. I think it looks amazing.
No, I don't regret that to renovate them, but we should have waited for the renovation.
In hindsight, maybe,
and do it later because we're going to make a lot of mess now inside and it might affect the outside walls and there might be some cracks appearing again. Anyways, we did renovate the facade and it immediately changed the looks of the coach house and it showed the true potential of that building.
Yeah.
But that is also the trigger why we made a huge change in our plans because we saw what this building could be and we asked ourselves, is an atelier and a sauna the right thing to do? Does it do justice to this building or should we overthink our plans? And from that little seed of doubt, it came out an incredible new plan.
Yeah. So I think we have shared previously on this channel that for the last couple of years, since we closed down our guest house, we struggled a little bit with the purpose for our renovation project here at the Chateau because we always bought this Chateau with the consideration that we were going to share this as a guest house and have lots of people staying here. However, due to the fact of COVID and then starting our YouTube channel, we realized that we couldn't continue doing both things. So we ended up closing our guest house and living here as a family. And for a long time, we didn't even occupy the most beautiful rooms, which were originally designed for our guests. We just felt like it wasn't our own home. And it wasn't until we renovated this master suite that we then felt, okay, now we can occupy it and it's for us. Yet
it felt way too big for us as a family.
We've really tried to appropriate the Chateau for us as a family. However, it's still a huge house for a family of 4. And when we started thinking about the coach house and all the potential things that we could do with it, we did come back to the fact that we used to always love hosting people, having people stay here in the Chateau.
And sharing what we're doing here.
And this beautiful Chateau is made for hosting and having lots of people fill it. We did spend this summer reflecting a lot about the project here at the Chateau and it led us to make some big decisions and big changes.
And if you're interested in these decisions, we have a video where we explain that in detail.
We'll put a
link it up there. Anyways, we did finish with our fabulous masons. They finished to renovate the coach house. It looks beautiful. And me and Benoit, we then started also renovating the first floor, like the floor of the coach house.
Which wasn't planned. It was only that we understood it was necessary because...
Yes, when we walked there, we thought it was just too dangerous to walk on it.
Safety
First. 1, 2, 3.
Safety.
Not safe.
Oh.
Safety. Again. Safe. Come safe.
Safety.
Safety. First.
over the summer, we went on one of our sailing trips, which is really important for us to have some time away from the chateau as a family. During that summer, that was just the break we needed to step away and reconsider what we were doing here at the chateau. And that led us to make
that decision.
To
reopen the guest house and to have guests again. And not only to have guests, but to make it even bigger than it was before, having more guests, having more rooms, which allows us to hire staff to run it together with us, to help us running this place. Because on our own, having YouTube on one side and running a guest house or a hotel, that is not possible. And that's why we came up with the idea to turn the coach house into additional guest rooms. And we think we make enough money to be able to hire staff and reopen, hopefully maybe in 2 years' time.
Yes, hopefully. So that's the plan. I know that when we shared this news, there was quite a lot of mixed emotions, I would say, in the comment section. And I think that initially some people were a little disappointed that we had decided to move out of the chateau, because that is what's going to happen. We can't stay living in the chateau and have a guest house here. We need to have our own privacy, our own space, which led us to the idea that we are going to transform one of the longhouses into our home, and our future home will be not that far from the chateau, but it will be much smaller, it will be more cozy, and we're really excited about that because it also gives us the opportunity to have a project for renovating those longhouses, which are 16th century longhouses. They're agricultural buildings. They are falling down. And so this whole new idea and direction has given us such a purpose for the project and given us the right sort of direction for what we need to do to renovate and continue renovating all of the outbuildings.
But before we talk about this, I would like to ask you, what was your favorite video of last year?
Oh, that's a really good question. Do you know what? I haven't even thought about this. I need to have a look at the channel. I need to think.
You need to think.
Do you have one?
I have a favorite video.
Okay.
I have a favorite, and it's funny because also last year, I think my favorite video was not a very good, well-performing video. But this year, I think it was the video where we went to Venice as a family and we visited the Murano glass factory.
That was amazing.
It was amazing. I think everybody who's interested in chateaus and culture and architecture should watch it. It's really good. I'm going to post it there again.
But I think in general, content when we're away from the chateau tends to perform less well.
Yeah.
Even our sailing videos, I know that there's some people that love following us on our travels and our adventures, and we love filming those things. Yeah. But yeah, it's not for everyone, but we're really proud of those videos. We put a lot of effort into them.
And so many nice things happened in Venice, and we saw amazing things, and we saw the people who make the wonderful glassware on the Murano Islands. So watch that video. It's a good one. Mm-hmm. And yours?
I think my favorite was the reveal of the Master Suite, because it took us so long to do the Master Suite. It took us over a year and a half, I think. Such a great sort of video to pull together everything that we'd done.
What was the best performing video of last year?
Definitely always our house tours. So we did a 6 years, renovating 6 years at the Chateau, which we want to do every year. We want to do an update of every year, what have we done? Because it's quite nice to see everything and look back. And I think that one always our house tours are the best performing videos.
Well, because they're reaching out far beyond our normal audience. So they get really millions of views, and that's nice for us because a lot of people discover our channel. But yeah, we still do them every year. We need to do them because that's our best way for us to reach out and to get new subscribers and new people who discover us.
And I think we try to do it in a different way each time so that it's not, too
to make it interesting for everybody, basically. And the worst performing video?
Oh, well, I think it was one of your boat renovation videos.
I'm afraid it was. It was the refitting video, because one of the things we haven't mentioned what we did this year, what I did this year. And I'm very happy and proud of myself. I refitted our boat, which means I upgraded it. I brought it from it was a 20-year-old boat, and now it has really up-to-date electronics, and nobody cares about it. I understand, because we're not a sailing channel, but it was a lot of work. No, it's not true, nobody.
There is a small percentage.
I think we lost 50% of the usual audience on that video. But please watch it. It's good. It's fun. You don't need to be interested in boats.
You do a lot of electronics.
I do a lot of electrics and
electronics. Which is impressive, to be honest.
Yeah, but our sailing videos this summer were a bit different because if you've seen them, we had massive engine problems. Yeah. Not my fault. It's just an old engine, and old engines break down, and it happened in the summer. So
it was a little frustrating. We didn't get to do all of the sailing that we hoped to do and show as much as we hoped. Philip, what are you doing?
I'm working.
Working? You're playing June's Journey again.
Yeah, that's working. I need to finish this level.
We're in the middle of filming.
No, I have to. This is this week's sponsor. I'm doing the ad.
Well, then do the ad. Don't just play.
No, and I have to finish this level because it's important for me to make the ad well-grounded and rooted in experience.
Okay, but I think you've got enough experience playing this game recently.
Yeah, but it's also very important for me to find out what's happening in the cellar.
Okay, what's happening in the cellar?
Look, it's a hidden object game set in the 20s, and you play as June Parker. She's an amateur detective trying to figure out what happened to her sister and her husband and what her family has been hiding. It's like when you play, there's a true story unfolding here with a great atmosphere. The scenes are beautiful, and I enjoyed taking my time, looking closely, and there's all these small details that slowly make everything make sense. And it's funny because it's calming, but at the same time it makes your brain work. And like here, look, whenever you solve a puzzle, there's a new place opening up, and there's new clues and plot twists. So there's always new features and new events that keep me going. It's exactly the kind of game I want to play when I want to switch off a bit. It's much better than scrolling through social media like others in this family might or might not do.
Okay, but let me have a go then.
No. You download your no. You download your own. You download your own. There's a QR code here on the screen, somewhere here or here, and there's a link in the description, and you can download it for free, and you start from the beginning. And June's Journey is available on iOS, on Android devices, both on tablets and phones, as well as on PCs. That's the link. Download it for free.
Which leads us on to a little bit looking towards next year and what our plans are.
Yes. All the things that we have planned, the restoration of the coach house, it's a restoration of one of the outbuildings, and there's a, which we haven't announced yet, but because we
only to our patrons.
Only to our patrons, of course. We have to do work in the main chateau as well, because if you're a guest house, you have certain advantages. You don't need to follow the safety protocols of a hotel. You can just have like a normal house. If you want to be a hotel, you have to have access for people in wheelchairs. You have to have a lot of sprinklers, fire alarms, stuff like a hotel. It's a lot of norms in France, you can imagine. But we have to change it because we will have new rooms in the outbuilding. So we also need in the main house the same standards as in the outbuildings. Just that's the rules. And because we have all these things to upgrade here anyway, we also are not anymore limited to 5 rooms. So we decided we create more rooms in the chateau, because there is still a whole attic space.
Which we never knew what to do with.
It's such a magnificent, magical space. We love this space.
It's definitely the thing that sold the chateau to us when we first bought it was the beautiful height of the beams and the height of the ceiling. It's going to be an incredible space.
We, of course, need to clean it first, and it's going to be a massive job, and it's slightly reminiscent of the things we did when we arrived here, because we renovated our personal apartment upstairs. And now we're going to do the same job on the other side, but we never filmed it because that was before YouTube. Yeah. And there's some really, really cool techniques involved to renovate it, the floor with a dry slab and other things. So I'm really excited to do that and to show you how we did it.
We're transforming the whole project into a hotel project, which is a huge project.
It's a huge project.
It's a big undertaking, and it is risky, and we are, there is a slight anticipation about this project.
What it entails.
But we are known for taking risks.
Yeah.
But we think that it will work. We've done the numbers. We're working with some hotel consultants who are very experienced, who are guiding us, who are helping us with the business plan and setting everything else up.
Yeah, there are several steps involved to make this project possible. So the first step for us is to come up with an exact layout of the future rooms in the chateau and in the outbuilding. We are almost there. I think after Christmas we can have a final idea, and then this idea we will give it to the architect, who will transform it into a doable and feasible project. Then we have a bunch of experts coming in to tell us all about the norms and to write down exactly what we need to do to be qualified as a hotel. Yeah. They will give us a huge list of things that we need to do and upgrade here for health and safety. And only when we have this, then the architect can apply for planning. And then it will take about 4 months, 5 months for the state to allow us or not allow us to turn this into a hotel and to make all these changes. And only then, if we succeed, there's a next hurdle. The next hurdle is, of course,
we need to go to the bank.
We are already in touch with the bank, and they are helping us to set up all the business correctly and all the numbers, because they supported us since the beginning here. So I'm feeling really good. But of course, it's a huge paperwork, it's a huge calculations, and a massive undertaking, much bigger than we've ever done. And we are definitely out of our comfort zone here, I would say, because we're playing with numbers we've never handled before. Taking a huge risk and a gamble to some extent, but we know that we were able to run the guest house successfully. Yeah. And we believe in the project, and we love it here. And since we have this project, we are so happy because we
Yeah.
finally found a purpose for this place.
But yeah, so it's a big change.
So that means 3 building sites at the same time. The
Yeah.
coach house, the chateau, the attic room, and our own home, because if we don't renovate our home, we have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
And we hope that we can do all these things within the next 2 years.
We know that in order to achieve this goal, we do need to get in more help.
Yeah, and beyond our usual tradespeople, of course, we
Yeah.
have Benoit here, we have Jean-Paul, our mason, but
Yeah.
we will have many more people.
Yeah.
But progress should be much faster, which can be interesting for you, I hope. Now you're asking if all this process of asking for planning permission and then getting the bank loan takes forever, what are we going to do until next summer when all these ideally are done? Well, there's a lot of things we can do ourselves before we have planning, not illegally, but legally, because we can do whatever we want inside the chateau. It's just when we do something and we don't get planning permission, it stays a private home. It doesn't become a hotel. So that's in worst case, we have an even bigger private home. However, we cannot do anything outside that transforms, for instance, the coach house. The place where we can do a lot of things is going to be inside here.
Yeah.
So I think we probably start with the rooms upstairs, and then also some groundwork things that we can do around the coach house and some smaller jobs inside the coach house. So there's going to be a non-stop process of renovating going on
For the next two
for the next 2
years,
years,
at least,
yes.
maybe 3.
Yes, and we forgot to mention one very important building. That's not the
Yes.
most loved one.
Yes,
The barrel house, my future
workshop.
workshop.
That is still in progress. As with everything here, you
Yeah.
always think it looks like a simple, quick renovation of the garage or the barrel house, and it ended up obviously being spiraling into something much bigger. And that obviously now meant that we have had to remove the whole of the asbestos roof and remove half of the brickwork.
Half of the building itself.
Yes, half of the big building itself.
But now everything is cleaned and we are ready with, finished the destruction, and now
Yeah.
we are ready to build up again. And I'm looking forward to it because I'm going to do some concrete work, and then Benoit is going to help me to make the
Timber frame.
The timber frame.
Yeah, we're going to re-put that back together, and then I think it will be really exciting to start on a bit of the landscaping around, because we have cleared all of that area around the old vegetable garden.
Yeah.
But we're getting there slowly, aren't we?
And what's with your workshop? Because people complain, Philip, now you're going to make your workshop. Where's Anna's workshop? She has to move out here, of your workshop here, because it becomes a guest room.
Perhaps I'll be sharing your workshop for some time, I don't know. The idea for me would be, we have an old agricultural wooden building that is behind the coach house, currently completely overgrown with trees and bushes, and is completely falling down. So I would like to transform that into my atelier space.
But also your workshop.
Yes.
It could also be your workshop,
Yeah.
and maybe for me an editing room.
Yeah.
Because not only Anna is going to be without an office, I'm also going to be without an office, because the room
We'll be
downstairs-
moving out of the chateau
the
completely.
beautiful yellow room, the color
Your
that you
office.
hate. My office will also become obviously part of the hotel business. It's most likely it will most likely be the office for whoever works here.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things happening, but we are feeling very excited about the future of this channel, about our future plans here. And the girls are very excited. They can't wait to decorate their rooms and help us in the design process. And we know it's going to take a little while, but yeah, it's going to be exciting for us to share all of this with you and the whole process, because I think it's a really interesting process that we're going through, because we're learning a lot as we are going. And and hopefully everything will work out. Because if not, we might be doing this video next year with a whole new plan.
So one extremely successful thing this year, and has to be said, Anna, is and you're wearing it.
My scarf launch.
Your scarf launch.
Yeah, that was exciting. And thank you again to everybody who purchased one of our scarves. We were completely overwhelmed and blown away by the response to my scarves. And yeah, it was a much bigger launch than we had expected.
Are you going to produce different things? Is there a plan?
I'm going to be doing maybe more scarves, maybe some other products, maybe some more wallpaper. My passion, obviously, is designing and creating products, but it is a huge amount of work, and at the moment it is just the two of us doing that, so we can only do so much. And
But I couldn't have done it without you, Anna. To be honest.
It's true.
I couldn't have done it without you.
I know.
Yeah.
What are our other travel plans for this year?
For this year, I want to change the strategy, because last year we did a lot of distance with the family, and it wasn't always super pleasant for you guys, because it was sometimes a bit rough. So I decided this year I will take the boat with a couple of friends to southern Brittany.
Yes.
and where it's beautiful, and we've sailed there already.
We sailed there our first ever time on a sailboat as a family when Ella was 3 and Lily was 6.
And we did a video about that.
And it was honestly
Beautiful.
incredible. I did not know how beautiful this part of Brittany was.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited to go back with our own sailboat. And I think we're learning how to travel as a family with the boat. And so, yeah, your plan is...
The idea is I travel with my friends, have a lot of fun going just like a week of pure sailing. And then the family comes and we do a really relaxed island hopping, hopefully with better weather.
Wetter?
Better
Not
weather.
wetter. Not wetter, but
Hopefully
better weather.
Better weather, less wetter, better weather.
Who knows, maybe we'll manage to meet up with some other chateau owners in the area.
Yeah, we promise we make it interesting also for people who are not interested in sailing.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the kids absolutely love it.
Yeah, and we love filming it. We love filming it because it reminds me my job before I started here when I was a documentary filmmaker, and I traveled all the time, and that's what I think is my passion.
And I think that whenever we look back at old videos, our favourite videos are our travel videos.
Yeah.
It's just a lovely sort of moment of family time for us to look back on in future years and remember all these. I mean, when I look back at those old videos of the girls, it's quite crazy how much they've grown and changed. So yeah, if you will stick with us during the sailing period, we promise we'll make it as interesting and fun for you guys. And we're always really proud of those videos.
And thanks again for June's Journey for sponsoring this week's video. Don't forget to download it for free. The link is down in the description.
Thank you so much for watching, and a special thanks to all our patrons who make these videos possible. Happy New Year and see you next week.